Hey Gemini, welcome to your reading. I'm Empress Rose. These are general readings. So we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch a wavelength on this reading, you can check your other major placements. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus would be major placements. And also, you know what I think? I think anything you identify with, anything you're excited about. Maybe you just learned about a certain placement and it's really exciting for you, and just go check out that one then. As long as you're taking what works for you and leaving what doesn't, not trying to shoehorn scenarios into your life, well, there's no harm. All right, so we're going to start with my monster deck of Moonology and Work Your Light Oracle cards. And then we're going to move into the Santa Muerte deck for a more traditional tarot spread. So, what do these guys want to tell us? What do we got for Gemini this week? What do we have for Gemini this week? Nothing? I was worried about that at some point. Is it nothing? Oh, and I like these ones. I know some people don't take them, but I like the ones that spin around and go back into the deck. To me, those are like our secret, maybe subconscious, or maybe what we don't want to talk about cards. So we'll start with those ones, the ones that spun around. Oh, wow. Energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. You've already made some steps, some sort of commitment towards something. There's still a lot of work to be done, though. It's not a total new moon, right? We've got movement here. We're already on our way to some sort of fulfillment. But we got a long ways to go. We got a long flight ahead of us. So the energy is gaining momentum, though. This is fascinating because that one says the energy is getting momentum. We're moving forward. And this one says, no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. So maybe this is letting you know that the energy is gaining momentum, but there is going to be a pause. So you are moving forward, something's moving forward, but there is a pause. Or maybe there's a block, or maybe there's something that you need to say no to, because this is a reassurance. So you've had some doubts that you're moving forward, that the energy is gaining. You've had doubts about this whole journey, this whole process. You know, maybe you've been stuck in a new moon phase for a while and like, yeah, it's beginning, but it just is always beginning. When is it moving? And this is maybe you have to say no to something and like have faith. Let's see what the rest of these cards say. Full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, so I'm getting that you need to say no or pause something that's minor, that's not part of this. It's not a big deal. Like whatever's blocking you isn't a big deal, isn't going to block the overall flow, or you need to say no to something because it's not part of the bigger picture. Like you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be spending energy on this because it's not part of the overall thing, and it's not going to be a big deal. Or there's something here that feels like a big deal to you right now, but it's not a big deal. It's not going to stop the flow. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then this is reminding me of beginning a path on something. And the very first mentor teacher I met was a big wig in the whole industry. And I felt like this person didn't like me and didn't like what I was bringing. And I felt like I had ruined the whole thing. Anyway, I did not. It was actually pretty awesome. But I felt like, you know, I'm never going to be able to move forward because this person's an industry gatekeeper and they clearly don't like me, but I had read the situation completely wrong. So there's something here. So that's a metaphor for what could be going on here. Something that might feel like it's stopping you, but is actually not a big deal and is not going to cause a problem. But there is this wait, postpone, just say no. So you might need to say no to something and keep your eye on the prize. That's what I'm getting with this full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. The energy is gaining momentum. Say no. Say no to something, or just maybe something. So this card's confusing because something could be paused, and this is saying it's not a big deal. You're still going where you need to go. look at the bigger picture. This is just a little glitch here. Could also be, look at the bigger picture. You don't need to be spending energy on this thing. It's not a big deal. Time to breathe out, disseminating moon. So letting go of something, relaxing a little bit, maybe relaxing into this path. The energy is gaining momentum, and you can relax, you can rest assured. Look at the bigger picture, not getting caught up in some minor details of something. And then you have warrior woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? So I do see a sense of something being distracting here, and you saying no to it, or you understanding that it is a distraction and it's not going to be a big deal overall. I wish I could tell you more about that story with that industry gatekeeper, but I can't. But it gets better. It was just the beginning. So, and I felt like I had destroyed all chances of making it in that industry, and I really had not, but it was a minor glitch. It took me several months of, it was a minor glitch. But the overall, I see the energy is gaining momentum, looking at the bigger picture here. If there's a postpone, it's not going to be a big deal. If you need to say no, and also you need to say no to something. This is reminding me of the gardening card in the Oracle Mystical Moments deck, of just paying attention to what you're paying attention to, right? So saying no to something that's a distraction from your bigger picture, or also allowing a glitch to happen and understanding that it's not, this has to do, when you're pursuing or not pursuing, when you're vibing with your deeper calling, there are going to be distractions coming in. You can say no to those. It's not going to be a big deal. Or there are going to be little glitches coming in. It's not a big deal, because this is so much bigger than any of those little glitches. All right, so Santa Muerte deck. We could be started with this read. We could be starting a whole new storyline, a whole new situation, or we could just be continuing this one. So I don't know what's going to happen here. That's the fun of this. All right, Gemini, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. We've got a lot of major arcana here. That's what I'm liking this, looking at the bigger picture thing. You've got major arcana. So you've got four big cards here. We're starting out with little cards though. Well, the Four of Swords here, this is the time out, the rest for recuperation purposes. This feels like a new moon energy to me. You know, the end of a cycle, the beginning of a cycle, like the that pause in between, the inhale, we pause, we exhale, there's a pause. So it's the pause after the exhale before you start something new. The preparing, the planning through resting up, the preparing through rest. There was a sense of depletion here, and a nap needing to happen, and resting, taking a time out from something, which is always a good idea. We don't want to, a little burnout. There may have been a little burnout on something here, and a rest was required. I like that. I mean, that message is coming very clearly through this card right now, is like really clearly. There was burnout. But that doesn't mean, so many goals and careers are multi-year, sometimes decades long efforts, right? So burnout's going to happen somewhere along that. And we take a rest, we take a break, we prepare for the rest of the journey, because you do have a much larger journey that you're pursuing here, and much bigger goals. Where does bigger fish to fry come from? Like, that phrase is kind of funny. Like, I've got bigger fish to fry. So you don't want to fill your frying pan with little fish? Interesting little phrase, but it came through here. We have this Four of Pentacles in your current situation. This is working, focused play, I feel like. I don't know, when you were a kid, so you went from burnout taking a rest, taking a break, to some sort of really focused play. You may be neglecting other things, focusing on one aspect of your life right now. So this could be work. I mean, if we're combining it with this other reading, this could be really a bit of a myopic focus and not really, focusing on one thing to the exclusion of other things, right? And not being able to pay attention to other things that actually might be equally as important and part of the bigger picture. So with this, look at the bigger picture, and this Four of Pentacles coming in here, I'm seeing that your focus is very intense, and you may have left off or forgotten about the bigger picture here with this. But this can also be just a focused play, focused work, enjoying your work, and just very focused play. This came up earlier. Like when I was a young child, I would sometimes wet my pants because playing was so exciting, and I never wanted to change the momentum or the movement, or just be so focused on what I was doing that these other things didn't matter at all. And it's just interesting to like go back to that space and like, what was I thinking? I was very focused, and I knew that once you left something and you came back, the dynamic and the energy was changed. So I didn't want to change. I would not, if I liked the energy I was in, I wouldn't want to change it, but then it changes anyway because you got to change. It just was interesting to go back and think about, like, what was I thinking? Why I'm embarrassed, but it's such a normal thing for children to do. Like, so kind of focused so much on one thing that you've lost. There's a point to that story rather than just embarrassing myself, which doesn't even make sense because I was a child. Clearly, I don't do that anymore. So, but there is a sense of like you maybe have forgotten to go to the bathroom. You were so focused on your play here. You're not looking at the bigger picture. You got to take care of yourself. You got a long journey ahead of you. You got to take care of yourself along it. And that you might not be. You might be just super focused. I mean, that coming in with this Four of Swords, there might just be burnout and focus on just whatever you're focusing too much on, you might be burning out on. And then we have this Five of Cups here in your inner landscape. This is the ultimate inner landscape card. Things have been lost. Yeah, I'm not going to continue going on that theme. I'm sorry, but he is sitting waist deep in his feelings and emotions, really into his feelings and emotions, really deeply engaged with that, but also trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what happened, trying to figure out. There is some sense of like trying to figure out what happened in a way, like going back and me thinking like, what was that would cause me to be so focused on my play that I couldn't even like take care of my basic needs because I was so focused on one thing and not taking care of my basic needs. But in a way, this is like that looking back on like, what happened, my feelings about your feelings about something, trying to sort something out here. I mean, you're feeling something very deeply. There's some unsettled energy here, and your mind is really trying to figure out, which I like that combination. Like I like the feelings coming up and the mind sorting them, understanding them, sorting things out. It works out so much better than our mind telling us what we're supposed to be feeling right now. Just let the feelings do their thing. We don't like tell our nerve endings what they're supposed to be feeling. You're supposed to like this texture, and our nerves are like, I do not like that texture. Plus it's 250 degrees and it's burning me. And it would be like our mind saying, I don't, we can do that, right? You can do that, force yourself and your body to do all sorts of things. But it works out better if we are letting our feelings and our bodies and our nerve endings tell our brain stuff. And then our brain can react to that. So there is a sense of, so I like the brain on top of, there's a really cool song. Now I'm ahead. No, now I'm a heart with the head. Anyway, it's about with the head on my shoulders. It's about orienting your emotions so that your brain is using them and listening to them instead of telling yourself what you're feeling. So I like this card. In your inner landscape, it's perfect. It's dealing with you're growing from it. You're growing from some sort of loss and grief, and from this process of figuring it out, sorting it out, figuring out what happened, and that kind of thing. What's the issue here is you don't feel great. Yeah, I think you don't feel like you've got what you need. We've got reverse Empress. You either really don't have everything you need here, or you lack self-confidence. You're lacking confidence, and maybe this is why you're clinging so hard to this focus to the point of burning out, because you've lost maybe some things in the past. You've experienced some difficulties and missed out on some things, and didn't get what you wanted. And so you might be feeling that this myopic clinging focus, which is causing the burnout, might be the route to go. But it's based in an insecurity, not in faith, not in the Empress and the upright. She has everything she needs. She's in power. She's in control. She has abundance. She has everything she needs. She's deeply connected to the earth. She's an earth mother. So there could be a sense of that, and maybe staying in a sense of loss and lack, focusing more on all that you don't have rather than all that you do have. That's why I think we're getting this look at the bigger picture card. Focusing more, because this reverse Empress isn't able to see the bigger picture, isn't able to see how much she actually does have and how much support and power she does have in the situation, and self-confidence. So you maybe, and I also am getting this like super focused vibe here on loss or lack. So, and then that's showing up like as the barrier, that focus on your loss and on your lack, is showing up as the barrier here, to some sort of self-confidence issue. And I think it's causing you to really zero in on a minor situation, that doesn't quite need that much attention and could be depleting you. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune in your environment. Something in your environment's changing. It's time for that thing to change. It's a divine timing thing. Your luck is changing. There's a shift going on in your environment. There's some sort of rotation. The wheel is rotating. The Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Luck is rotating. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. This is the Joni Mitchell song. It's not like it's my favorite song, but it has this really great thing in it about sort of rotating. We're sort of, the earth is like a merry-go-round. We're rotating around the sun. And as we rotate, people's ponies go up and down. And we're not necessarily always in charge of that. We're in charge of our behavior. We're in charge of the choices, of making the choices that life is always presenting us, and deciding what to do with all of the stuff that comes flowing at us here. But the thing is that sometimes our ponies are up and sometimes our ponies are down. And sometimes your pony feels like it's falling through the floor, and sometimes your pony is rocketing up. You're not even sure you're going to be able to stay on it. So just that luck changing, we want to prepare for when the pony rockets up on our carousel, and we are also preparing for when the pony rocks, saving and stuff like that for when the pony goes down. So your luck is changing here somehow. Your luck is changing. Something in your environment is changing. A door that was once closed is opening. A door that was once open is closing. Your to-do list is the Fool. I love this as a to-do list. You are to leave this graveyard. This is sort of has this graveyard vibe here, and sort of this lack, this graveyard, this death, this ending, You've been possibly very focused on that. But this is allowing something to call you forward, allowing that butterfly to catch your attention and call you out of this space that you've been in. Maybe very focused on something that that was just a minor glitch or something like that. Me being very focused on one sentence that this industry titan said to me, and feeling like, well, I guess I'll never work in this industry again. When in fact I had, it was just a minor thing. I don't even think that person remembers that statement anymore, or, and it was it was a misunderstanding on my part too. So focusing on that, but just moving forward into some sort of, I feel like this Fool is answering the deeper calling. The Fool actually is looking at the bigger picture. The Fool is well aware of all the glitches, all the things that can go wrong, and it moves forward anyway. And this Fool, I love him because he's like really poorly packed. He's just got everything's in his heart, and he's just ready to move on from this graveyard. Ready, anything is going to catch his eye. And it's this butterfly here, and he's going to follow that butterfly, that calling, that deeper calling into some sort of more beautiful place. Although I do find graveyards very beautiful. And there's a sense of rejuvenation. I think even doubling your energy here, because in this Four of Swords we have one candle burning and the rest are all burnt out. And in this one, we've got two candles burning, and we're really moving forward. Oh yeah, we've got this, I mean, it is the theme of the deck, but still, we've got this coffin right here, and this sort of loss situation. And then here you are, you're leaving all those coffins behind. You're leaving them behind, and you're focusing more on what you do have, on the abundance around you, on a new idea, possibly something really good. You are looking at the bigger picture. The Fool is the Fool because he does see the pitfalls of this adventure. He does see the dangers and the difficulties, and he ignores them. This is like the lovers, like when they do finally make the decision to go forward. They made their pro-con list, and this one didn't win, but they're going to do it anyway. They're going to throw out that pro-con list and go. Like, he's looked at the cons, he knows the cons, and he's moving anyway. Moving out of this energy, for sure, right? Moving into more abundance, gratitude for everything you do have, looking at the bigger picture, moving towards your deepest calling. And then where are we going? This is interesting because the Hermit's shown up in lots of people's possible outcomes. So it could be more isolation here, but it's also getting in touch with that inner light. If we do have more lockdowns, make sure you're taking the opportunity to get in touch with yourself, getting in touch with your inner light. I like how the Fool and the Hermit are looking at each other here. And there's something here. There's something really beautiful here that they're both following and looking at, and it's guiding them. That inner light, that deepest calling. I feel like, we're back in the coffin here. The Four of Swords was burnout, but this Hermit isn't burnout. This Hermit is looking within. So it's in this as your outcome card, possible outcome card. I see it's not wanting to show you a big grand vista. The tarot, when this card is showing up in this position, isn't wanting to show you the big grand view of where you're going. It wants to let you know that you already have that view within, but it's just going to be revealed one step at a time, because this lantern isn't shining out. It's not the sun. It's not even the moon. It's your own inner North Star, right? It's like Captain Jack Sparrow's little compass here showing him where he wants to go. Although that gives him a direction, but all it does is give him a direction, right? And it's that inner compass, but this is like a little inner compass that just shows you the next step of where you're wanting to go. So that's what this card here represents to me, is tarot saying the next step will be revealed to you from within, and it's just going to be the next step. We're going step by step here. We're not giving you the overall map of where we're going. We're going step by step. So it says look at the bigger picture. And then it's like, well, in a sense, I'm not going to show you the bigger picture, but just don't get quite so wrapped up in minor details that wear you out and deplete you. But I feel like this warrior woman answers the deepest call, the deepest calling. All right, Gemini, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much. But we're long here, going long. Let's see if one of these cards wants to jump out at us. One of these Kuanian cards. Okay, well, we got two, of course. 24 minutes in. Oh, but this one's making decisions, making choices, recycling, being a sort of a, and this one. Oh, we'll read that one because I'm not. The phoenix will rise. You are not permitted to enter into the divine fire of personal transformation unless you are capable and worthy of the challenge. The reward bestowed at the other side of the journey is such that all suffering throughout is redeemed. No matter what struggle you have endured, you shall rise again. This is your destiny. And I'm loving this after this depleted thing. And I'm loving this too because this coming out of the graveyard really does have a resurrection vibe. And then we have, this is about your path, being on your path. Look how cute that yak is. The call of the wild divine. Divine wildness requires openness to all of who we are, rather than just the parts that seem proper, appropriate, socially acceptable, controlled, or tamed. Then we gain access to our instincts, our bodily intuition. This is knowing without knowing how you know. Trust what you feel at the deeper level, and then you can respond to those messages with wisdom. Awesome. All right, Gemini, have a great week. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really appreciate them.